to Dennis.
Yeah.
Dennis is in Germany. You're live with Eric and Jamie. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Very well. Nice. That's good audio. quality. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were first going to pick up Rob in Long Island, something like that. So I'm a little bit out of guard. But so basically, I've heard an atheist recently debate EF, and this atheist called Destiny. He's a YouTuber.
Oh yeah, I saw the subreddit.
He said a few things about his own epistemology that I found quite interesting, and those are that one basically has to make presuppositions about one's epistemology, such as causality exists, rationality makes sense, my brain can make something like a logical statement. And first of all, do you guys agree with this? Like, is this necessary? And basically, it's not possible to explore these things themselves. You have to presuppose them. Do you guys agree?
I actually agree that we do have a few presuppositions. Yeah. And the first thing that I would say is the laws of logic, right? And that's because you can't use the laws of logic to prove the laws of logic. It's a really funny issue. But we use it because it works. And until the point that it doesn't work, we're going to continue to use it. And when it stops working, we'll stop using it, right? If we're specifically talking about our own reasoning, well, actually, I question my own reality as much as I can, because I know that
because that's how skepticism works.
We're faulty. We're faulty in the way that we see the world. We're faulty in our memories, and so I do my best to try to make sure that is still on the table. Because I can be wrong, and I absolutely want to know when I'm wrong so that I can correct if I can.
Yeah, well, when I heard these statements being made that you have to presuppose these things, it kind of made me imagine something that made me doubt my epistemology, which was an imagined conversation between an atheist and a theist.
Okay.
And the theist is basically like the EF type, like what was the word? Let me just think. Like presumptuous and smartass type of theist. Sure. Because the theist could just say, well, you make these presuppositions and I just presuppose that the Bible is true. Sure. And that's my ultimate epistemological basis. And so, is it possible to show that presupposing the basics that I mentioned is more rational than presupposing the truth of the certain holy book?
Yes.
Because I just need to. No problem. Absolutely. I realize that I'm kind of going a little long here, but still, because I can't imagine that all of these discussions could just end at a stalemate like this, because it seems like a stalemate to me where the atheist just says, well, I'm presupposing these things and I can only judge other things based on those presuppositions. And the theist could just say, well, I'm just presupposing the Bible and I take it on faith and that's that. I can't imagine that it really is that simple and that it really ends there and that it's really like a draw.
No, because if you want to create a logical argument, if you want to move forward, you're going to need to use the laws of logic. Right? If you asked someone to give their premises, right, they would be relying on the laws of identity, non-contradiction, and the excluded middle. And so we're starting there, right? After that, we need to move forward. I mean, if you want to question, identity, non-contradiction, and the excluded middle, then we can do that without ever talking about religion. But to the best of my knowledge and my research, we're kind of stuck there. But moving forward, that is not the same as presupposing the Bible, right? Let me explain it this way. I heard, I forget who was saying it, but what I remember is someone saying that, let's say you were arguing about science and the supernatural, right? If you were to ask someone to explain the supernatural what they would need to do is use science to explain the supernatural, right? Bringing things directly back into the methodology of science, right? The methodology that we use when we talk about logic is something that we all use. It's not the same, right? I'm not presupposing that I'm right, and I'm also not presupposing that there are, how many claims are there in the Bible, right? The supposition that something is what it is not what it's not, and cannot be what it is and what it is not at the same time is very different from believing that Abraham took Isaac on a mountain where he was told to slaughter his son by an angel and was stopped at the last minute. It's very different from, the story of Noah's Ark or any other ones in the Bible like that. It's just, it's apples and oranges.
I realize what you mean, that basically the quality and dimension of these claims in the Bible are just a totally different, are an orange compared to an apple, of like saying, well, A is A and not A is not A. But if you have a smart ass theist, he could just say, well, again, this exact evaluation of the apples and oranges you're making with your own epistemology in which you have presupposed these things. So basically this theist could argue you're making a circular argument, and that's what my difficulty is.
Sure. A circular argument includes the conclusion in the premises, right? So am I making a circular argument about religion when I am not bringing up anything about religion in the premises? I don't think so. Right? I'm not going to, say we're not using the laws of logic. I'm not going to try and deny that fact. Yeah. But when it comes to that, the other person that I'm talking to, if they are using logic, are going to be using the laws of logic as well. I don't understand how those can be conflated.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem with the fact that it's an imaginary debate. But
no. Actually, I think that there's honesty to it because I have seen it.
Yeah, it's happened before.
It's happened before, and that's the difference between an honest and dishonest interlocutor. Yeah. Right? Either you're looking for a conversation, you're looking for an honest discussion, or you're looking to try and score points by this very, very base idea that the people who don't understand what's going on are going to determine the winner, right? That's not how you move forward. If somebody, says something very forcefully and is absolutely wrong, that doesn't mean that they won. It just doesn't. So maybe when it comes to people like that who are behaving dishonestly, we should decide whether or not we're going to continue those conversations. We had EF on because we saw value in people being able to see, dishonest conversation. Right? Somebody whose goal is not the same as ours when it comes to determining the truth value of things around you. When you're talking to people who only want to hear their own voice and are never listening but waiting their turn, right? Those people exist. And if people are watching our show to see what those conversations look like, it's better that we have them than people who aren't ready or don't understand or don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
Right? Let them see it. The difference with EF, though, is he's not calling back on the show, right, Jamie?
He can try. We're not going to... Well, for a variety of reasons, I think you've seen the last of EF on the show.
Namely, when you encourage people to troll and call in and use really poor language.
What I will say is...
You're done.
The objection from a presuppositionalist apologist to Eric's... The argument you said where you're like, oh, but if a Christian was responding to this, they might say, but that's a circular argument. They wouldn't. They would say... it's a baseless argument because presuppositional Christian apologetics is all, the basis of all your arguments is the laws of logic, but you don't have a presupposition that supports that. I do, therefore my worldview is better, right? So instead of starting with logic and going forward, they say, well, you have to start with something before logic. We don't have anything to put there. That's why I put God there. I win.
It's kind of like Stewart from Saturday Night Live. Look what I can do, and it doesn't. I don't see.
It's like a combination of that and the dad from the High School Musical episode of South Park, where he's just like, I'm going to slap you.
No, I got
It's like, look what I can do. Slappity, slap, slap, slap. And that's what they think an argument is.
okie doke.
Yeah. So to be clear, their argument is sort of, we should presuppose another thing. It's just sort of interesting that that particular line of Christian apologetics, I'm putting that in quotes because I don't want to insult all of the other Christian apologists.
Oh my gosh, I was wrong. It's Mad TV. Holy crap. I am so sorry.
Oh yeah, you said
the live
SNL.
Chat has corrected me.
Wow,
I was wrong.
I did not catch that
Nope,
at
go ahead,
all.
Jimmy, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I apologize for not catching that to the audience. Yeah, that's Mad TV. Wow, that distracted me
Sorry,
immensely. Yeah, no, you're fine. Just get your sketch copies right, I guess.
That's fine. Dennis, hopefully this helped.
Yeah, hopefully it helped somewhat.
Yeah,
But
hopefully.
but
I
here,
think I'll also make a thread on the subreddit. What's it called? r/talk heathen.
yes,
Yeah.
reddit.com/r/talk heathen.
And if you do that today, I will definitely be there sometime this week.
What we encourage, though, and what we absolutely want to make sure of, and I can speak for Jamie and I both, is be intellectually honest, right? The last thing you want to do is stand and go, oh, no, I can absolutely prove the laws of logic. No, you can't.
Yeah.
You know, standing up and being honest, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're standing on an I don't know, you know, that is far preferable to trying to lie and say that you do.
Yeah. I'm about to make an assumption. Ready?
Okay.
I think that any theist who would try to argue like this would actually know about the laws of logic and accepts them himself and just doesn't want to go there. I don't think there would be any theist who would be so deep into the topic of epistemology who wouldn't
that's the thing
about these things.
That's the thing is they're not denying that the laws of logic are true. They're stating that we intellectually do not have something that supports them, which is true. And they're saying that is a problem, which is not true. And they're saying that problem is solved by presupposing the Bible / God, which is not even wrong.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's...
They've gone 3 steps extra, and they're all stumbles.
You can make, reasoned judgments based off of the evidence at hand. You know, I could stand at the edge of a cliff, and I don't need to see somebody else jump off a cliff to decide not to jump off myself, right? So because of that, I can't say, well, if I jump off this cliff, I know I'm going to die. And they say, oh, well, what's your reasoning? You haven't seen it. Well, that we can do the best.
Yeah, you haven't tried it out yourself.
Yeah.
So how can you possibly know?
Exactly. Yeah. And if it boils down to that, the argument was never an argument in the first place. It was just an exercise in futility. But
yeah, I do think that if anyone from either side were to try to argue at a level like this, it would be only cheap jabs at the other person. It wouldn't be really honest. It would be kind of pathetic in saying, well, see, but this is how I could do it, and I could just take it on faith. But anyway, I'll probably just also make a Reddit to have like some written out opinions on this, because maybe it's even more complicated than what we've covered.
Definitely.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it absolutely is, and it's something that I've seen a lot of really, really good discussions on, so I think that is a great format to do that. Dennis, thank you so much for calling.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Have a good show and a great week.
Will do.
See you on Reddit.